Hello there, this is Roberto Matthews, and this is the next one in the series of how you can toggle. We're going to create today an accordion with this toggle method, and I'll show you how cool it is. The first part we're going to do is a toggling that as you click, it opens and closes the toggles. So we already have our setup here of the three labels with our three pieces of information. We're going to update this information right here with, we're going to convert these to H1s or H2s. H2 should be fine. So let's go ahead and click these three here. And say we're going to make them H2s. Okay. And then after that, we're going to make some divs here. So we're going to make each one of these divs accordion info. Okay, and actually let's undo that and make sure that they are divs. Okay, so now we have three divs here, and we're going to put some lorem in there. So let's make it pretty long. Let's make it 50 letters long. So now we have our divs and we have our information right here. So in each one of these labels that we're kind of using as divs, we got our we have our information all together. These are going to be the titles, and these is going to be the actual information that opens and closes. Okay. So to make it simple, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go into our label, and we're going to go into our input. So the input, since it's a checkbox and we have the actual box here, we're going to actually make it disappear. So we're going to say display none, and now we have our checkbox gone. Now the checkbox still works, it's just that the checkbox is actually gone. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to just create the actual toggling that's going to happen. So in order to have that happen, we're going to go inside our div class right here, and we're going to select the div class. And we're going to give it a height of 0, and we're going to overflow hidden, just like that. Very nice. And then we're going to actually select it every time we do the clicking. So the click event is set up really simply by just saying the label input and whenever it's checked. So whenever it's checked, we're going to select the actual class of accordion info, and then we're going to give it a height of auto. And there we have it. Now if we want to give it a little bit of animation, instead of auto, we're going to have to give it a little bit of a height. So let's give it a height of 150 pixels. And let's go ahead and make this animated by saying that the transition is 0.4 seconds. And there's our animation. Okay. Now, this is also responsive, as you can see. But since it's responsive, as you can see, the letters are kind of hidden here. So instead of overflow hidden, we're going to say overflow auto. And now whenever the flow is too wide, we have a little scroll bar right here. Okay, and the same goes to test number 2. Let's close test number 1, and let's do the same with test number 3. So as you can see, it works out really well. Now, of course, we're going to put some CSS around it to make it look nicer. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to close all these labels here. And we're going to wrap the whole thing. Now in CodePen, to wrap with a tag, you're going to do Control-Shift-A or Command-Shift or Control-Shift-A on the Mac, and then you're going to tell it what you want. So in this case, we're going to say accordion wrapper, and now the entire thing is wrapped in this div called accordion wrapper. So in accordion wrapper, which we'll take in the top here, we're going to say max width 600 pixels, and we're going to say margin of 0 auto. And just to give it something that we can see, we're going to say border, we're going to give it a 3 pixel blue solid border. And then we're going to give it a border radius of 7 pixels. And there we have it. And of course, we can put some padding if we want and things like that. But here's our completed accordion styler. Now, as we said, since we're using checkboxes, the accordion will open depending on what you click on. So in order to change that, in order to make it, instead of checkboxes, we're going to change all of these to radio buttons. So we're going to take this here, we're going to do Control Shift F, and everywhere it says checkbox, we're going to change it to radio. Going to change them all to radio, and of course we're going to select this whole radio area here. We're going to say Control Shift F. We're going to replace radio with radio name equals, and we're going to call it selector, or yeah, selector. Select all, replace all of them. So now all of these have radio name selector. So now that there are radio buttons, nothing really changes except their functionality. So now when we click on it, it's going to close the other one automatically. Now, when you're, let's go ahead and refresh this by saying Control Shift 5. As we refresh the page, you'll notice that all of the accordions are closed. So if you want your customers or clients to actually see one open when they approach the page, the only thing you have to do is on any one, for example, in this first one, if we want the first one to be open, we'll actually put it as checked. So now when they first open their page, this first one is going to be checked. And then when they click on any other one, it'll automatically close the other ones. So again, since we have this on a responsive set, it's going to create this little slider. And now you have an accordion that you can actually put on your website and make it a little bit more dynamic. I'm going to be updating with some more information. So if you want to get more tutorials like this, don't forget to subscribe and like this video if it helped you out. Have a great day.